Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have now on to part 2 of this embellishment box memory decks holder contraption that I created for Carrie's Craft Corner for the challenge that she had had. And this is the one that I created when I thought I was recording the first time and it was not recording. So right now, part 2, we'll go ahead and do all of the holder pieces that actually go inside the book. And this is the book part that we created in part 1. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to do the, like I said, the inside pieces. And we'll start with the embellishment box holder portion. And this is the part that's completely, Tony had from Craft Purge had totally done a tutorial on a little book for the embellishment box before, so this is totally inspired by Tony. But we'll start with that part right now. And for that, you're gonna just need all of these pieces. You'll need 110-pound cardstock. And so for this piece, you're going to need a 110-pound piece of cardstock that measures 8.5 by 6 3/4, and you're going to score it at 3/4 of an inch on all 4 sides. And so I've already done the scoring just to speed this along, and I will do the burnishing of the score marks now. It works better if you do the scoring before you do the cutting on to create the tabs, to actually create the box. Just a little bit easier when it's in one piece. And then we'll just cut up and do a little mitering on the 4 corners here. And I will be using my art glitter glue again for the tabs. So all 4 of those are cut. And then I'll get my glue. And we're just going to, you'll find that this is going to be the theme for this part of the project. It's a lot of box building. So I'll just add glue to the inside of those tabs, fold them up, and then do the same for the other side. Glue on the inside of the tab, and fold those into the flap there. And there's your box, basically. And because because it's sitting kind of open in the actual book itself, I went ahead and got some matting done. So I got some more paper from the Carousel collection, and I'm gonna put a decorative piece right here on the inside and then on the outside edges. I won't do anything on the inside just because the box itself will be sitting in there, but you can see when you take the box out the bottom really well. I would recommend using double-sided tape. Okay, sorry. This piece of paper for the inside measures 6 7/8 by 4 5/8. I will list all these measurements in the description box as well. But what I was saying is I would probably use double-sided tape. I don't know. I think it's probably okay for this kind of thing. I just feel like the double-sided tape helps really reinforce the pieces and stuff. So that's the inside. And then you're gonna need 2 pieces for the shorter ends that measure 5/8 by 4 5/8, and then another 2 pieces for the long side that measures 6 7/8 by 5/8. And I've already done all the stitching, so if you want to do stitching, you do it before you mat the paper onto the box. And I didn't go, just because this is the second one of these that I created, I did not go through and trim the ends of the sewing, but I would, and will before if I gift this to somebody, so that it just kind of cleans up the look of it. And you can pay attention to the paper. Like this one has a girl that's standing there, so I flipped it around so she's right side up. And then we'll do the 2 long sides. Again, I used my gold thread. I really am enjoying using the gold with the carousel collection. I think I mentioned, I really like the way that that looks together. So we'll put this piece on. Again, that one is upside down. Flip it around, and that is basically the embellishment box holder. So this is from the Dollar Tree, and it just fits right in there nicely. It actually fits with this little tab on there, but I typically cut it off. I just don't like it hanging out of there, but you can add ribbon to it and make it look nice or whatever you'd like. So that's the embellishment box part. And then I think next we'll go ahead and do the candy box or the treat box. And that is going to need another 110-pound piece of cardstock, and this one will measure 6 3/4 by 4 1/2, and you score it at 3/4 of an inch on all 4 sides. And I've already done all the pre-scoring and pre-cutting just for the sake of it moving along. I probably could have created this already so you guys could see it done, but that's okay, we can do it together. So I burnished all the sides. And again, I'm just going to cut so I have tabs to glue so I can create the box. This is the bottom portion of the box. This box we're going to actually make a top for. So we'll cut these tabs. And we will glue them together. Glue on the outside here. I like using the 110-pound cardstock for these kinds of things, especially when you're adding something to it. It just increases the sturdiness of it rather than using a decorative paper that might be a little bit thinner, not as heavyweight. So there is the little candy box. And then I'm going to, because this is going to have the lid that goes over it, all I'm going to do is put the, just going to mat with decorative paper just the bottom of this. So when you lift the lid, that's what you would see if there was nothing in it. So this little piece of paper, I've already gone and stitched, measures 5 1/8 by 2 7/8. And I'm just gonna add that to the bottom of it. Again, I would trim all the gold thread off, although it's kind of cute. Depends on the look you're going for, I guess. And then, let's see, is this the top of it? Yes. We'll do the top. Another piece of cardstock, and it measures 6 7/8 by 4 5/8, and you're going to score it 3/4 of an inch on all 4 sides. I made this just slightly bigger than the bottom, just so that it's easier to get the top off of it, so you're not, it still sits on there nice and snug, but it's not so tight that you have to struggle to get it off of there. So we're again gonna cut the tabs so we have a place to create the box. So the lid's just slightly bigger than the bottom portion. And then we'll glue it. So like I said, this is the second one of these I've made today, and cutting out all the paper for the matting is what takes so long on this project. And then of course if you sew it, that's just additional work to it, but it sure, I think, finishes the project off really nicely. So there's the top, and as you can see, it just sits on there really nicely, but it's still a good snug fit, but it's not so tight that it makes it difficult to get off. So for this one, because it is over the bottom of them, I'm going to do the top and the 4 sides. And so you will need paper for that, and the top piece will measure 5 1/4 by 3 inches, and I've gone ahead and done the sewing on it. I was kind of trying out all my sewing machines different variety stitch choices. I was playing around with it. It was kind of fun. If you got to do it again, you might as well make it fun, right? And then for the sides, you'll need 2 pieces for the shorter ends that measure 5 1/8 by 3, and then 2 longer ones for the longer sides that measure 5 1/8 by 5 1/4. And we will just go ahead and add those to the sides. I don't think there's a paper in this collection that I don't like. Sometimes there's one that it's kind of like, oh, but this one kind of has good paper all the way around. Good patterns and colors. As I was picking out the paper to use for the matting, I was just kind of using what scraps I had just because I had already gone through it, so I didn't pay attention really to what it was going to look like all together, but I don't think you can really go wrong putting any of these papers together. So there is the top. Sorry if I was out of frame. There's the top and the sides, and that will just fit nicely over the bottom of this box, and that's the little candy box. So that one's done. And then we'll do the belly band portion is what I'm calling it for the memory decks box, the little matchbox portion. And this piece of cardstock, you'll need 11 inches by 4 1/4, and you're gonna score at 2 1/4, 3 1/4, 7 3/4, and 8 7/8. And I've already done the scoring. We'll just burnish it. And so as you can see, it's just going to be like this little kind of square rectangle that the matchbox part will slide into. And so all we're going to see is the top and this side and this side. So we will want to add, if you want to make it look nice, paper to the decorative paper to the top and then to those little portions, but these will be on the bottom, so you won't need that. So for the top, we will need a 4 by 3/8 squared piece of decorative paper. I'll glue that on and add it right here. And then the 2 little side pieces are, you're going to be the same measurements, and they are 7/8 by 4 1/8. And you'll need 2 of those. And I will put all these measurements in the description box for your convenience. So that will basically go like that. So you'll see the sides, and then the memory decks portion will have paper on the front. So that part's basically done. And so then we'll do the memory decks portion, like the box that slides into there, which is this piece right here. And this piece of cardstock measures 6 3/8 by 6 inches, and you're going to score it at 1 inch on all 4 sides. Again, I've done the scoring to move it along. And we're just going to create another box. So I'm going to cut on these little sides here, so I have something to glue together to create the box. And the last one. I discovered through this process, if you accidentally, like I was cutting, sometimes I was cutting this side and then cutting this side, and it was creating these tabs to, like, one might be going this way and one might be going the other way, and it was bothering me. So I discovered that if you cut them both on the same side, it will make it cohesive looking. So like you can see they're both folded in on that side. It's just through, I'm sure you guys all know that. Sometimes you have to do it to actually, I have to do it to see it. I'm a very visual learner, I guess. So there's the Memorydex box that will slide into the other box that we just created, like so. But so really all we need to do on this one is mat this front piece, and I'm gonna do a hole punch. I've got a circle punch right here. I'm gonna punch half a circle so that you can slip your finger in there so it'll be easier to pull out. But I will do that after I do the matting. I'm also gonna mat the inside just because when you pull it out, if there's nothing in it, you can see. So that piece of paper for the inside measures 3 5/8 by 4 1/4. So we will add that in there. And then for the front piece, it measures 7/8 by 4 1/4. And I'm going to put this on there, and then I will hole punch it. My thread got a little crazy right there. So I just want to make sure that that is the right. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to hole punch that, just a half punch. You can see I'll do it right there. So now when we put this together, which will be in part 3, you'll be able to reach your finger in there to pull it, which will make it easier. So that's the little Memorydex box that I had created. And then lastly, what I had done was I had added a little pocket piece that housed the Sequins mix. And that just goes on top of the little box we just created for the Memorydex card. So for that, you will need a piece of cardstock that measures 5 7/8 by 4 3/8. And on this one, you're gonna score on the short sides, both short sides, and just one long side at 1/2 inch and at 1 inch, but leave the top. Don't score the top. And then we're going to do the burnishing of the score lines. And I think I want it to go that way. So I don't, okay, so you're gonna fold the 1 inch score line, you're gonna fold it in, and then the 1/2 inch, you're gonna fold it out. So when we attach it, that part will be what you're attaching to. So fold the 1 inch line in, and then the 1/2 inch line out. And that will create this surface to attach it to. Same thing for the bottom. 1 inch line in and the 1/2 inch line out. And then what we're gonna do, because this is just added bulk and we don't need it, I'm gonna cut this little 4 squares out there. That will help eliminate some of the bulkiness when we attach it. And all we need to do is just put a piece of decorative paper on the front of this, as these will be folded in and you won't be able to see them. So we'll go ahead and do that. This piece of paper measures 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. And so we will add that right there. And then I think, you know, on the one that I did not do any, I didn't do a little notch on here, but you could totally hole punch this and do a little half circle so that it's easier to grasp if you want, depending on what you put in there. So that's that piece. So we have the Matchbox or the Memorydex card holder, the Sequins mix or the pouch holder that goes on top, the little candy box, and the Embellishment Box. And so that is all the pieces. And what I will do is I will end this right now, and I will come back and we will assemble it all in the book that we created in part 1. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.